We're good to go. Okay, welcome everyone to another Friday here at UTS Startups. It's UTS Startups Confessions, where we talk to founders from our UTS Startups community who are building incredible companies. It's as simple as that. So welcome everyone who's here. Can we get a big round of applause for Michelle from Evaheld? This is going to be fun. I am a big fan of yours. I've known Michelle for a little while. I've seen her wandering about the spaces, winning awards all over the place. And most recently, you've been working on Evaheld. So tell us about that. What is Evaheld?
In a nutshell, Evaheld is a platform that empowers users to create content, keep it safe, and then it's either delivered or published after their death.
Cool. This is obviously a very interesting idea and a very interesting business. What do people say to you when you tell them about Evaheld? What are their reactions?
Good question. It's very humbling. I think with an idea like Evaheld, unlike a lot of ideas, it's something that's so personal and intimate.
Yeah.
And people often don't say anything at all. They're just kind of taken aback by what they've just heard. And they often sit with it and they process, and I see it all happening on their face. And then once they come back, they're just like, I've never thought of that, or I've never thought to do that. Which is mind-boggling because it's actually such a simple concept.
I mean, for me, I've never thought of it either. And when I heard about After I Go, which has become Evaheld, I was like, this is wow. This is awesome. So what does it mean for someone who wants to engage you? Like if they hear about Evaheld, if they're interested in what you're doing, like how do they get in touch? What happens?
So essentially we have two arms.
Yep.
So we have our publication arm and we have our posthumous delivery arm. So at Evaheld, we see our posthumous delivery arm as something that's quite private.
Yep.
So a lot of our users will create content for loved ones, and this will be delivered after their death.
Yep.
We're the first people in the market to be able to do this without the need for a third party. So we're maintaining people's integrity and independence and autonomy even beyond the grave.
Wow.
And then our publication arm is where we're working to be the first people to put, in Australia that is, to put QR codes on tombstones, which will link to memorialisation profiles. So we're actually working with one of the largest cemetery groups to help them turn cemeteries into what we like to call museums of public memorials.
Wow.
And that's definitely a very public-facing aspect.
I'm seeing a lot of wide eyes in the audience. It's super cool. So, okay, before Evaheld, did you just sort of wake up and decide to start a business? Like, who were you before this whole thing started?
Good question. So, I'm not as young as most of the people in the room.
Neither.
I would say. Awesome. So I have a very traditional background. So I was finance, accounting, Sydney Uni, law at UTS.
Yep.
And then I actually ran a media production agency for many years. And most recently I invested and established an interior design company, which is not something that I've ever done before, but I actually just successfully exited that 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
So I've never done anything in a professional sense that is to do with posthumous delivery or publication.
Yep.
Done a lot of media and content creation, but for nearly 10 years, I have been volunteering my time in helping people to create content, which I've personally delivered for them after their deaths. But it was nothing, it was something that I never considered turning into a business. It was very personal. It was, just something that I did out of love.
Yeah, so I mean, you've been doing Evaheld for a little while now. And then, so you have a co-founder that you work with as well. How did you meet Michelle? How did that all work?
I kind of just stuck on and didn't let her go. She was just stuck with me.
Cool.
She's going to love that if she's watching. So when I first got the idea when in 2020, someone that had asked me to help them create content, they passed away during the lockdown. So all of their content was lost, and it was absolutely devastating. And I don't know why. That was the light bulb moment. That was like, we've got to make this accessible to the world. No matter what happens. So that's how it started. what happened at that point is that I had a great mentor and they said, go do 100 interviews.
Yeah.
And actually in this space, there's little to no research about content created specifically for posthumous purposes. So I started doing research, had a few people in this room, the beautiful Bluebell helping us with research, and Michelle was one of them, and she's actually the principal business analyst at CBA, and she's just incredible. And after I interviewed her, she just loved it so much, and she said, anything you need, just come to me, I'm happy to help with anything. And I saw that as practically moving to a house and just set up shop and start working from there. And it was completely organic and just a beautiful co-founder relationship.
Yeah, so you mentioned, I guess, the idea for Evaheld sort of came to you through some situations that people that you knew and things that happened. But when was it you decided this could be something, this could be a business? And what was that like?
I don't think I ever decided that. I think it decided for me. So I had that experience where that person passed away. This was late 2020. I'll never forget it. I was actually meditating. And obviously all these experiences were in my psyche. And I just saw it all play out. I just came to and I was like, after I go, I was like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do it online so that never again someone who wanted to create content will pass away without having done so. And I think that it was such a traumatic experience that, let me go 2 steps there why it was so traumatic. So having for so long helped people to create this content and having numerous people say to me, it's one of the best things that I've ever done. The healing properties of it, the peace of mind, incredible. And then having recipients say to you, this is one of the best gifts that I've ever received. So experiencing all of that, which is the most humbling thing in the world, and then knowing that someone passed away, not being able to do that, I think it just couldn't escape my mind, and eventually it just all came together.
Yeah. Okay. And so, I mean, this is an incredible idea. You seem to have the skills and have the people around you to get it done. What technology helped you build Evaheld? Like, I mean, we're at the University of Technology. We talk about it all the time, and startups are kind of, leveraging technology. So, what did Evaheld look like when it comes to the building blocks? Like, how did it practically start?
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to prove it out really quickly. So I thought, what's the quickest and cheapest way to do it? So obviously we know that's not going to yield a very good result. So we used Laravel, which is kind of a legacy platform, and actually it turned out much better than we ever imagined, and we were able to onboard users, trial users, interested partners, and we were very fortunate. We were able to nut out the UX UI to the point where, as of next week, we're going to have fully migrated it to AWS and ready to scale and bring on bigger partners and whatnot. So it was a Laravel to start, and now React, Node.js on a very modern tech stack.
Yeah. So, okay, you talked about Michelle and yourself and the people that you interviewed. What is the team now? Like, what is Evaheld?
I think including Michelle and I, there's 11 or 12 of us. Been so fortunate, have the most incredible team. Being a part of UTS Startups has been phenomenal. We've really leveraged all of the internship opportunities. As I was saying to you earlier, we get, I think, an unprecedented amount of applications every week. And I say that from a humble space, just the amount of engineers that offer their services to us, the amount of devs, marketing interns, product designers, everyone that just says, if I have to do work experience anywhere or to have internships anywhere or give my time to anything, I want to give it to Evaheld.
Wow.
And my God, it's been incredible. Like we have, our head dev is ex-Silicon Valley, and he's working for the love of it. And he was just, he's literally working for the love of it, Jeremy, and he's just incredible.
I think a lot of people listening would be very envious of your situation, and we all know finding great team is difficult. So you've just been advertising, or have you been just talking about what you do and these people find you, or how does it work?
A little bit of people just randomly approaching us. And otherwise we just put it up on UTS Career Hub, and UTS interns are amazing. They've been phenomenal.
Cool. You haven't got any bad ones. That's good. Yeah, not like Sydney. No, wouldn't have been like
Oh,
jokes.
I can't say that. I went there as well.
Okay, so we're talking about a business that you love. You're clearly a heart and soul kind of person, right? So do you feel like Evaheld is what you wanted it to be? Is it already starting to realise its potential in terms of what you thought it would be? Are you, is Evaheld what you want it to be right now? Or what is the future?
I always think of it as, am I enough for Evaheld? Because Evaheld already is. Just everything that it represents, everything that it brings to users, to recipients is just phenomenal. So, I don't know, between Evaheld and the team, I'm always questioning whether I'm bringing enough for the table, not the other way around.
Okay, so it's safe to say you're enjoying your job at the moment as a co-founder.
I love it.
What? But
I think I answered that question, Dave.
I was kind of a bit like, what is the question I'm asking? I get the question on the paper, which I should have stuck to, was what is the future of Evaheld? And I guess you've been talking a little bit about the potential of this idea. You were saying earlier when we were chatting that you built a prototype, which is cool, and you were able to onboard users. But why not just keep doing that? Why stop and build something more sort of a better foundation there? Like, why was that?
Everybody asks us that, and we actually had a few people just saying, just keep going, it's growing, just do it with what you have.
Yeah.
Michelle and I decided to stop and do the migration, simply because this is very personal. I don't think there's anything more intimate or personal than someone can share than these messages that sometimes is unfinished business.
Yep.
Things that they were never able to say in person. It's a whole myriad of things that people share, right? And if we lost a single message or content belonging to someone that had already passed away, I couldn't think of anything worse. I'd rather lose people's money.
Yeah.
And so with Evaheld, we proved it out, and then we thought, this is more than money. This is more than anything to a lot of people, and that's why we just thought, get it right, get this on the right tech stack.
Yeah.
And we have partners as well, so we're nothing without our partners, and their reputations is everything to us. So we want to make sure that the official launch, we're making everybody proud.
Yeah, it's so cool because in startup world, I think in startup craft, you're a bit like good enough to get out, just hack it together, a bit of paddle pops and sticky tape, sell it. And what you're talking about is so different. So it's a cool perspective. I think it's really cool. Okay, so you've been involved in all these...
I've still been selling, Dave. I've just been selling the dream.
Yeah. Well, I'm in. I bought it. I love it. And obviously many people here are feeling the same. But, okay, so you've been involved in all of these businesses. You've exited businesses. You've had, multiple careers at this point. And Evaheld seems to be going really well. What are some keys to building a successful business in your mind?
I'm not going to say anything that we learn at uni or anything that are skills that we can learn, because I honestly believe that all of us can learn all the practical skills and even business skills that we need to. For me, if I tell people one thing, it's treat every single conversation with every single person as if it's the most important conversation you'll ever have. So when you open up to people and they open up to you, just the synergy, every single opportunity just opens up, and you receive and you give, and you just, there's expansion.
Yep.
So be very open and just talk to everybody.
Where does that come from? Like, where did you learn that?
Probably from a lot of people that tell me to shut up. I don't know. I think I've always found it kind of easy to get in and deep with people quite quickly. Could have worded that better. And I'm going to go laughing, Dave.
It's all good.
I don't know.
I feel like while we're talking now, like you are giving your absolute to this conversation, and it's just a bit like, this is cool. So this is how you do business. You just chat with people and you are yourself.
Absolutely. I never talk about business.
Yeah.
I don't. This is what I was saying to you before. I think all our interested investors, our partners, we've never chased anybody. Our focus is to connect.
Yep.
Evaheld's thing is connection, right?
Yep.
And to us, it's what we say all the time. We're like creating moments of connection, because connection is all we have.
Yep.
And we believe that, and we live it, and we breathe it, and that's how we conduct ourselves in any conversation.
Yep. And I guess you, having talked about what Evaheld has achieved so far, and the team that you've got, and all of the great feedback that you're getting, you've got to be proud of that, right? You've got to be proud of what has already been built. But I guess, like, what's the next step for you guys, and what can people watching sort of help you with, or what's your message to people about Evaheld at this point?
My message to people, the first thing that comes to my mind is, if you've never thought about creating content for posthumous delivery of publication, just do it. You don't need Evaheld. You can do it, start a YouTube account, or put it in your Drive folder, or do whatever you need to do. That will always be my first message. But if you did want to check us out, we're always open to feedback and talking to people and improving ourselves and making sure that we're catering to what people need. And for us, we'd love to see just more people creating this style of content.
Yeah. Is there a launch date sort of penciled in, or are you thinking about a timeline, or still not clear yet?
Beginning of next year.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Okay, so one thing that I skipped over actually that I wanted to go back to was the whole journey of creating all of these different companies, but especially Evaheld. What has it given you as an entrepreneur? Do you feel like it's given you anything? Do you feel like you've walked away with some benefit here, or what's that been like?
Evaheld to me is a culmination of a lifetime of work and experience. It's the first time that I'm fully in alignment.
Yep.
And I feel like Evaheld feels aligned.
Yep.
And it's purpose-led. It's completely purpose-led. So I'm in heart space. I feel like our offering's in heart space. It's just amazing. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Every day we're just come and hang out with me and the team, our desk, and it just feels good when you're working on something that you believe in. It's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah. Oh, I get that from you, for sure. It's very cool. And I have to say, like, watching you guys work away at the desks, because we kind of sit near you at UTS Startups, it just seems like you're always quite busy and there's lots going on, but just to hear the under the hood stuff is super interesting. If you were to go back a few years, so we were chatting before about what it was like to kind of be in careers and be in spaces that you didn't feel like there was purpose and there wasn't alignment. Like, what would you say to young Michelle when you were feeling like that?
I would definitely say you'll get there, and when you look back, everything will make sense.
Yeah.
But don't sweat it so much. Don't be so anxious to get everywhere really quickly, because nothing that is for you will pass you ever.
Yeah.
And everything that you go through will prepare you for where you're going.
Yep.
And my life has definitely prepared me for Evaheld. And I think in the scariest moments, which we all go through, where, you know, when you do have your mental breakdowns and you're thinking, oh my God, have I made the right decision? Oh my goodness, I've spent all these years in entrepreneurship. Should I have just gone and become a solicitor? I would have been a partner by now and just gone on the straight and narrow trajectory. Yep. All those really dark, scary moments where you just question, your self-worth, just question everything. I'd say to young Michelle, you're going to know what to do.
Yeah.
And you're going to be really proud of yourself, because you're going to keep showing up.
I love it. I might watch this video on repeat, especially certain times of. Anyway, that was awesome. Michelle, we have come to about 20 minutes. So what we're going to do now is switch off the camera, and we're going to go to audience questions. So every single week when we do this, we give people that show up here in person a chance to, dig a little deeper, ask the hot potato questions, and find out what it really is like to build and run your own business. So make sure you get along here if you can. If not, that's cool. We live stream every single week. So you'll see us back here. You'll see someone telling an awesome story again on Friday at this time. But for the rest of us, thank you so much for watching. We're gonna switch this off. And by the way, AWS, you were talking about AWS before, are our awesome partners on this recurring event, and they are sponsoring the best pizza in Central. Definitely can tell you, it's wood-fired, it's crispy, it's delicious. The toppings, this pizza is good. So get yourself down here. If you're gluten-free, all good. If you're vegan, weird, but all right. You can come down here and grab some pizza, and we'll see you here next Friday afternoon. Thank you so much, Michelle. Can we get a round of applause, please?